Hello and welcome to Sovereign RPG. I am Sovereign. Today we are back in Myth of Empires and it is pretty damn bad news. I'm going to be going over the last of the court documents that are going to be coming out this year. I'm not going to go through everything this time. I'm going to go through some of the actual point. Jamesy from the Discord has highlighted a lot of the stuff for me. If you guys are in the Discord, you know that this guy actually knows what he's talking about. For the most part, have to throw that in there just in case. But I just got out of bed. I just woke up. I'm still getting over the fact that I'm alive, but I thought I should get this out there straight away so people can make decisions on what they're going to do, because I have to start thinking about what I'm going to do. So we're going to go over the important parts, and then we're going to I'm going to give you guys the explanation of what this actually means. But the general gist of it at the beginning, I'm just going to tell you that there's not going to be anything happening in the game. The servers will not be coming back up at all until at least the 31st of January, where the court has decided the next time that Angela games will be heard will be on that date. So there's going to be a month of no new players, which is troublesome in itself. The game is already starting to see a slow decline on the official servers, and it's only going to get more and more once this news gets out and people start thinking about moving on to different games, etc. Because I mean, generally I don't like to say the nails in the coffin, but it's looking pretty bad on the side of Angela Games right now. All of the evidence and the proof has been put forward by the Snails and Wildcards team, and there's been not really much evidence given apart from just employee testimonies. There's been no backing, no exhibits, no sources, no nothing like that. So the judge has basically just said, well, you haven't done enough. But we're going to go through this so you sort of understand. So the court concludes that based on the current record, plaintiffs have not made a showing that they are entitled to a temporary restraining order requiring withdrawal of defendants' DMCA takedown notices. So according to Jamesy, and I pretty much have to agree with him, it's basically the court assessing the record of all the stuff that's been thrown in, and they haven't got any evidence or reasonable backing to show that they actually disclaim, like, to disprove the claims against them. So they haven't given anything that the court says, okay, you might be all right, you might be okay, you might be in the right. They just haven't given anything. So they've basically just said, no, this is not going to happen. Accordingly, at this stage, the court will not upset the status quo by requiring defendants to take the affirmative action of withdrawing their takedown notices to Valve, Tencent, and other platforms hosting Myth of Empires. So that's basically, and they put in here like the Garcia versus Google Inc., which is basically the court agreeing with the actual law citations that they've put in there. So the court is basically on the side of Snail Games and Wildcard throughout all of the evidence that's been put through. As such, plaintiff's evidentiary showing is not sufficient to grant the drastic relief requested. It's basically the court telling Myth of Empires that they don't have the evidence to support their proposal at all. They've been very quiet, and the responses that Angela has been giving to the court themselves has been very lackluster. It's just basically no, 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 and then only giving actual employees saying that they haven't done anything. They've not actually given any backing or proof. They refuse to give the source code over, etc. So it's been a bit of a nightmare on that front. Angela Games has not put forth evidence that they are likely to suffer irreparable injury that justifies immediate relief, although plaintiffs claim to face severe, potentially fatal financial straits and harm to their reputation. They only cite to conclusionary statements from Cheng Ting Kong, a director at Imperium. So the court again finds MOE has like no evidence at all. Court also does not trust the credibility of the MOE employees because of the evidence against them, and there's piling evidence against them, and the court have seen that there's piling evidence against them, and their credibility is basically dead. And again, I'd like to thank Jamesy for all the information where he's pulled up all of the bits of information that are relevant, and he's given me explanations on what they mean. So thank you very much to Jamesy for helping me out with this. It saved me a lot of bloody time. Dude's a legend. And I just want to thank him. Make sure to thank him down in the comments for taking the time to go through this for us. Now, additionally, based on current record, there is sufficient evidence for the court to adequately determine plaintiff's likelihood of success on the merits. So the court is basically saying MOE hasn't done anything up to this day that would show otherwise, and the court is saying that there's chances of them winning the entire case is unlikely on merits, which I don't understand the merit system. Like, surely it's just you're right or you're wrong. The merit system kind of makes no sense to me, but I'm not a lawyer and I don't understand any of that stuff. And basically, Jamesy thinks that this is a huge insight into how this will end. It won't end in Angela's favor. He's pretty damn sure that it's the case that they've lost already. It's just going to be up until the date when they've decided that they've lost, unless they're hiding something up their sleeve, which I doubt they are, because if they were hiding something up their sleeve, then it would already be out there and we'd already have that information and they would already have used it to get the relief that they needed for the TRO, etc. It's just, it doesn't make sense. The court goes on to say that defendants have offered a plethora of circumstantial evidence related to their counterclaims of copyright infringement and trade secret misappropriation sufficient to defeat plaintiffs' application for a TRO. TRO. Basically, like, I mean, it's all just piling on top of each other. That the Angela Games and Imperium haven't given enough evidence to prove anything, only the declarations of employees, and it's just nothing's going to be coming out of it. All of the evidence has been given by Snail Games and Wildcard, and Angela's pretty much remained silent on that front. The fact that 60 of the 82 employees that are working at Angela Games came from Snail Games, the court has decided that's evidence that can be placed in as evidence. The court accepts the email transcripts showing Yang Li Ping accessing the actual ARC source code in the days of 2018, when Angela and Imperium said it wasn't until 2020. So 2 years before they said it happened. Now it could be that the company doesn't, like, given the benefit of the doubt, it could be the company didn't know that he had access to it in 2018. Maybe the lawyers, the team of lawyers that they have working for them were blindsided by this because they wasn't given the full information. Who knows? I'm not one to basically, I don't have a crystal ball. I can't tell you exactly what happened beforehand. It just, the evidence is starting to prove that this stuff did happen. Now, the declaration given by Yang Li Ping definitely wasn't, like, the court didn't see it as anything, any kind of evidence or credible evidence. It was just some one guy talking, and it goes on from there. Basically, where he turned around and said that he didn't transfer any information, he didn't take any information, he didn't bring any information over to Angela, and the court have said, well, according to the evidence that have been that has been placed so far, it seems that that's not the case. And basically, the court's weighed up everything that has come in so far and told Angela and Imperium that they're going to get nothing. There's no TRO going to get in place. There's going to be no help, no help from the court to be able to get them to earn more money. Now, what Angela is going to do, who knows? Maybe they just cut their losses. They're still updating the game. Tencent still has the official servers up, but that's another problem in and itself, because there's a DMCA takedown, and sort of Angela's now gone to court with Tencent to get those servers shut down as well. So the official servers may be shut down very soon as well. Maybe, I don't know for sure. It's looking along those lines that Tencent's going to have to at least drop the US and EU servers, because they cover around the same laws. There's certain countries in the EU, like the Netherlands, for example, that allows more creative freedoms over copyright, blah, blah, blah. But most of the EU countries and in the US, they take the copyright infringements very seriously. And it looks like if those servers are based in the US and they're based in the EU, those servers will likely be taken down, depending on how Snail and Wildcard do against Tencent themselves. There's not much information on that at all yet, because Tencent hasn't given any responses to that. It's basically just Snail's gone here, this, and this, and they had, I think it was 14 days or 20 days, one of the two, for Tencent to respond to that. Now, Tencent haven't responded yet, but they've got some time to do that. But like, but Snail and Snail USA has requested an insane amount of shit. The judgment be entered in favor of Snail against Tencent. The court grants Snail USA damages to compensate them for damage caused by the infringement. That the court disgorge all profits unjustly reaped by Tencent. And an alternative, that the court awards Snail USA statutory damages for Tencent's infringement. The court established a constructive trust and order Tencent to transfer legit title and possession of all devices. Tencent must render a full and complete accounting to Snail USA for its profits, gains, and advantages. Like, there's a lot of, they've gone for the jugular. They've gone to cut their throat, and they're going. But yeah, I just read on here that it is 20 days for them to respond, and if they don't respond, then the court will award a default summary, and everything will just get thrown out USA, depending on Tencent even decides. But it looks like Tencent was waiting for all the information to be brought in from MOE, see how that course was, like the court case was going between Snail and Angela Games and Imperium, just to see how it went, so they can decide once that happens. Now this has come out and all this stuff is happening. The court is mainly siding with Snail Games and Wildcard. It looks like Tencent might come out with a response very soon. We'll have to see, and I'll do an update video on that when and if it comes through. But it's definitely not looking good for Angela Games right now. Now, I've defended Angela Games from the get-go. I've been given some pretty biased statements in the videos, etc. And I still think it's the same thing. I'm still not a fan of Snail, and I'm still not a fan of Wildcard. I'm not a fan of their dodgy practices and all the bullshit that they've done in the past. But I can't completely defend them if it's the... I can't completely defend Angela Games if it is the case that the source code was stolen. Still hasn't been 100% proven, but the court is going in that direction. So now it comes down to what I'm going to be doing on the channel. I'm still going to be doing Myth of Empires content for you guys, if that's what you want. If there's any other games you want me to take a look at, please let me know down in the comments down below. I need to sort of figure out what direction to go in. just in case, because if the official servers get shut down, then there's nothing I can do and I won't be able to make any content anymore. The private servers is basically going to be pointless for me to make content for a game if not everyone's going to be jumping on the private servers, etc. But until the official servers do go down, I will be continuing to make Myth of Empires guides for you guys. Make sure, just in case, you never know, there could be a turn on its head, there could be some information or anything could turn up, some evidence could turn up that proves, but it's looking pretty damn bad. It's just such a shame that Angela Games, if they did steal the source code, could take that dodgy, buggy source code that was used to create Ark and Atlas and make an actual good game out of it. Is credit enough in my eyes for the dev team. The dev team really cared about getting the updates and the bugs sorted. They cared about all the stuff, and it's just such a shame that this would happen in a game that I finally got to sit down and start enjoying for a long period of time. New World took a shit on me when they released their game. I put 600 hours in there in the first month or so, and then just left it because there was nothing to do at the end. And I was finally getting into like the survival game release of Myth of Empires, and it's, I don't know, it's upsetting, it's sad, but we'll have to see how it goes. Let me know down below what you guys think about what's coming up here. I mean, are you guys going to be moving to a different game? Would there be any content you want me to look at in the future? I have set up the Twitch channel, so I'm going to be like streaming different games on a daily basis, probably from 8 p.m. CEST, which is UTC +1, so 7 p.m. UTC +1. So if you're interested in checking it out, make sure to throw a follow. The link is in the description. Remember to like and subscribe if you do enjoy my content. There's a Patreon in the description if you'd like to support myself and the channel. I want to thank you all for watching. Fly safe and avoid local chat scam.